that
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Gillian, from Digital Surge. My name's Michael Forster. I work for Newry Morningtown District Council, and my colleague Paula Jones is here as well today. We lead the FF&I Consortium, which is made up of all 11 councils in Northern Ireland. And the consortium is there to deliver digital infrastructure and digital related projects, with this Digital Transformation Flexible Fund being one. Throughout this presentation, you'll see those QR codes. If you scan that with your camera, and I'll just check that that actually works on a screen, because I haven't tried this yet myself. Yeah, if you scan that QR code, it'll allow you to sign up to the DTFF, Digital Transformation Flexible Funds e-zine, and through that e-zine we'll be promoting all announcements of future calls and further information that you'll need to apply for funding. So as I said, all 11 councils, you can see their logos there. The programme is covered right across Northern Ireland, and is funded by central government and UK government departments, which we'll touch on shortly. So you've maybe heard of the Digital Transformation Flexible Fund. We haven't done a lot of promotion yet because we've just got approval from InvestNI and DFE, and over the next month or two you'll start to see promotion ramp up and official branding come into play. But really this programme has been developed as a second level of support coming off the back of Digital Surge and other initiatives. But it's unlike Digital Surge, which focuses on upskilling and development of the digital transformation plans using emerging technologies. This is actually a capital-led grant scheme, and it's there to help you as a small business tap into some of those emerging technologies, basically addressing the financial barriers to get you up and running, and start using those technologies within your business. Funding arrangements come from a variety of sources for the capital element. The initial bulk of the funding comes from the City and Growth Deal Complementary Fund. So that's made up of all councils in Northern Ireland, excluding Derry and Strabane. There's also an additional pot of funding to the tune of 1.1 million, which comes from DAERA, and that's focusing on more rural applications. And then the reason Derry and Strabane are excluded from the complementary fund is because they have their own growth deal, and because of that they're contributing 450k, just over 450k towards the project as well, which means that Derry, City and Strabane applicants or businesses can tap into it. It's delivered by Newry Morningtown. We're the lead council, but we're an equal partner within the consortium. We delivered on behalf of every council area, so the central administration will be done by us, and InvestNI are the investment decision maker, and each council funds the revenue costs to operate the programme, up to just shy of £1 million to run that over 3 years as well. So if you are familiar with Digital Surge, you probably know some of these technologies that the DTFF will fund. DTFF is based very closely on the same technologies. I'm just gonna mute. See, can everybody just mute their mic, please? And I'll take questions at the end if you don't mind. Thank you. So one of those technologies is smart technologies, the smart environments, smart cities, smart places, IoT, basically anything that connects to the internet, the use of sensors. Some of you may already be dabbling in that area, but some examples and use cases are smart building automation, things that are in buildings, connecting up lighting, thermostats, door locks. It's a mixture of using sensors and looking at the data that those sensors are picking up. Industrial automation, so in manufacturing plants, you can be monitoring how equipment's moving through manufacturing process. One of the other key things IoT is enabling predictive maintenance. So using AI, machine learning, and IoT to predict when machines need servicing so that they don't fail. Smart energy is huge. It's something that the councils in themselves as a public sector are looking into, how we can reduce the costs in our buildings and also monitor it remotely. Traffic monitoring and management is another one. So that's using cameras, obviously taking GDPR into consideration. You're not collecting actual data on people, but it's just the movement of people or things like tourists across central areas. Smart city applications is another one that councils are very keen to tap into, and it's aligned very much so with the current funding available through the growth deals and the city deal funding there, that looks at how we can develop Northern Ireland as a smart province and a smart district in each council area. And then the other big one there at the end is healthcare monitoring. So that's looking at IoT, connected health, the whole wearables, tracking people with maybe heart conditions or diabetes, and it allows maybe with other technologies remote consultation to keep an eye on people who maybe are suffering from some of those things. So that's IoT, and a lot of the IoT applications will be covered by the Digital Transformation Flexible Fund. Next technology is robotics and cobotics and process automation delivered by those technologies. So for this, it's probably more what we're seeing in aligned with the manufacturing and assembly type businesses, but again, it's open to all sectors, excluding 3, which I'll come to later in the presentation. But really, manufacturing and robotics sort of come in quite close together. And again, it's there to try and automate tasks that are repeated over and over again. Cobotics is slightly different. It's robots working alongside humans so they can perform small, simple tasks and complete these quicker than maybe humans can, allowing humans to move on to other more important tasks. So it's all about automation within the factory environment or the industrial environment to try and improve efficiency and cost savings. The other technology is big data and analytics, and this is kind of a catch-all because IoT and robotics and a lot of the other technologies that DTFF will fund is linked back to the capturing of data and the analytics and looking at trends and things like that. But it is funded under its own as a standalone technology as well, and it's looking maybe at customer analytics, the whole operational efficiency of a manufacturing process, predictive analysis, again, a bit like IoT there. The use of big data, open data can predict trends and maybe customer behavior or when machines are going to fail or when they need to be changed. And that allows better decision making and just strategic planning. Number 4, I think we're on, is the immersive technology. So augmented reality, the use of maybe an iPad or smartphone, Android or Apple phone, which overlays an image. Virtual reality, which is the headset, which you can see in the animation behind. Mixed reality is a mixture of both and other technologies to provide an immersive experience. And then haptics is you probably experienced haptics when you press your phone, you feel that slight vibration. That's haptics. So it can be tied into other applications. So immersive technology is quite a big one that DTFF will be focusing on. Again, the councils are highly interested in developing tourism type applications. There's also funding from Belfast Region City Deal, another project called Augment the City, which is a challenge fund, and DTFF could allow a business that's interested in AR, VR to apply for funding initially and then go on to further funding through that project. So this DTFF program very much acts like that initial pipeline that will feed into other much larger funding pots if you are in the area and you're developing these emerging technologies. But under this technology, AR and VR can be used for product visualization. So rather than shipping a team of people out to, say, China or the States to show something, you can develop an augmented reality prototype or virtual reality prototype and allow someone at the other side of the world to put a headset on and visualize what the end product may look like and then tweak it from there. Another big one is training and education that allows companies or small businesses to train up employees or educate customers. One of the conversations that we've had recently through the Digital Surge breakfast meetings is a lot of people would be interested in doing this for health and safety. So it avoids putting your employees into a dangerous environment. You can train them on the VR first before you actually put them into somewhere where they need the skills before they actually go into that area. Marketing and branding, AR and VR, you've probably seen TikTok and Snapchat, Facebook, they're all using AR, VR filters and things like that now, but it can be really good for developing interactive and engaging advertising campaigns. Tourism and hospitality, AR and VR. In Newry Morning Down, we have AR and VR, which is tapping into Narnia trails and sort of fairy trails and things like that for kids. That's massive, and we're only scraping the surface. So if you're in that environment or in that area, let us know as well, because our other colleagues in departments across the council are looking at how we can do this ourselves and how we can bring in small companies like yourselves to do it. And then the last one there is remote assistance. So being able to provide guidance using AR or VR to customers and providing instructions. Kind of ties in with the training and education one, but it's more about actually overlaying physical environments and assisting maybe through other technologies like IoT or remote consultation. AI and machine learning, again, another technology or set of technologies that cuts across IoT and AR, VR, things like that. This is, in its simplest form, is looking at customer support and chatbots. You've maybe come across that. If you're looking up Microsoft Bing website, where they can provide really intelligent AI-powered answers to common queries, and ChatGPT is able to develop, you type in there whatever you want and you're getting a really good answer back. That's all using AI, and a lot of companies are now using AI-powered chatbots on their website to help with customer support. Again, demand forecasting comes in there. So it's using algorithms, looking at historic sales, trying to predict those trends, and that can tap into the production lines to try and ensure that you have the right capacity and efficiencies in place to develop your products. Predictive maintenance, we've covered that, but again, it's just demonstrating that these are linked into other technologies. So by analyzing the sensor data from the IoT technology, you can use AI or machine learning to predict when you might need to perform some routine maintenance. And then process automation is actually trying to reduce those repetitive time-consuming tasks and improve efficiencies across your organization. Distributed ledger systems and blockchain. Now, the value of the grant, which will come to the DTFF offers, will probably only scrape the surface of a blockchain technology solution that you maybe want to implement. But what I would say is that DTFF is a stepping stone. So if you've went through Digital Surge, you've had the expertise from the mentors there that's maybe helping you develop a plan or develop some idea on how you could use these technologies. DTFF is the initial stepping stone that will allow you to actually purchase some of the technologies, start to develop them either as a full product or a prototype to try and get started. And then what it's designed to do is actually lead into further support through the other programs. And right now, the growth deals and city deals are probably those key areas that you want to concentrate on. But for under DTFF, for blockchain and supply chain management, they can be used again to track and trace goods along the supply chain. The smart contracts is quite interesting to us as a council because we're looking at how we can improve our procurement and make it slicker. Anyone that's had the pain of dealing with councils with procurement will know what I'm talking about. It's not the easiest process to do. And we're trying to look at how we can implement maybe blockchain in the future. You've all maybe heard of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, so that taps into the blockchain-based technologies, and it can be used for the likes of transactions across borders, obviously taking Brexit and things like that into consideration, but it does allow for extremely fast and efficient ways of conducting those financial transactions. And then decentralized marketplaces, again, looking at the e-commerce sort of element. But what I should say also is the DTFF Transformation Flexible Program, it is not focused on any sort of normal digital type projects within your business. It has to be focused on these 6 technologies. So it's e-commerce alone is excluded. The likes of buying laptops and printers and things like that won't be covered. It's just those main 6 technologies. So applicants can come from right across Northern Ireland, operate within one of those 11 council areas. So every council is involved. We'll be submitting an expression of interest whenever the call opens and asking you to complete that. And if you meet all the eligibility, we'll then ask you to go and prepare an application form and start filling in other supporting documentation that you'll need to apply for the fund. The grant itself is capital grant only, so no revenue costs. It has to be something physical or something that you can buy. The minimum grant value is 5k, maximum grant value is 20k, and applicants have to submit a 30% match funding value to that. So this is a 70% grant intervention rate, which is unheard of in Northern Ireland. Typically, the types of grant that come out from InvestNI are around 50%. And the reason that we have pushed the 70% value is we, in our business case to Invest and Department for Economy, we have said that we're not exactly sure that any business that's gone into these technologies, whether or not that technology is going to be a success or not. But the whole purpose of this program is to try and make it easier for the likes of yourselves to introduce those technologies, trial them, and it may fail. And if it fails, it's no big deal. You know, at least you're actually trying to bring that in and implement something into your business. And the nature of these technologies mean that they don't always work. So that 70% intervention rate takes some of that risk away from you as an applicant, being able to explore and see how these technologies work. Yeah, I've covered that. So here's the applicant eligibility. So this is what you need to be or what you need to have in order to apply for the DTFF funding. You have to be a small or micro business. So any business less than 49 employees or a social enterprise, same size. You have to be VAT registered and actively trading for 12 months. And the reason for that is the nature of these technologies that are being funded. They will be actually going to established businesses and businesses that know what they need, that they want to do and why they need to do it, rather than a pure startup. Now, if you are a startup, I wouldn't let that put you off. What I would suggest or recommend is that you register anyway. There's 7 calls throughout the up to 7 calls throughout the lifetime of the program. And if you're a startup in the first call, we'll just hold your details until you're actually at that 12-month period. And VAT registered is in there because of the scale and turnover of the businesses, but also because the grant that you'll receive is excluding VAT. And if you weren't VAT registered, it would really mean that the 70% intervention rate would drop down to maybe 50 or less. So it makes more sense to be VAT registered if you're not already, if you're interested in applying to DTFF. The fund is open to all sectors, excluding primary agriculture, forestry and fishing. And the reason for that is that DAERA, who fund 1.1 million towards it from the rural aspect, they have told us at business case stage, whenever we were developing this, that there's already significant support available for those sectors and they're to be excluded. So if you fall into those sectors, unfortunately, you're not eligible, but every other sector the program's open to. The applicants, when submitting an application, you'll have to submit an application form. You'll have to submit a digital transformation plan, which is critical. This document is describing what technology you need, why you need it, what the benefits are going to be for your organization. Is it going to employ new people within your organization, bring in new staff, bring in new products or services? Are you going to be able to export? All that type of information is what's going to be scored on your application. And it's not really a first come, first serve. They'll be scored on who has actually met the highest score in each of those assessment panels. And the assessment panels are carried out by all 11 councils, not just Newry, Morning Down. And we will be bringing external expertise if we need it in to assist with those. So that digital transformation plan is critical to applying for the funding. Now, some businesses that we have spoken to in the past couple of weeks at Digital DNA and through the Digital Surge breakfast mornings last week and the week before have said that they do not have that plan yet. We are currently developing a template which either you can fill in or a consultant can fill in. The other more important thing is we are working with all of the colleges and the universities, and we are trying to get the colleges into a position where they can help applicants such as those on the call today to develop this digital transformation plan. So that's something that we're working in the background through a stakeholder reference group, so that there is that additional external expertise to develop that plan if you don't have it. So don't be worrying too much yet, but just keep it in mind that you have to have one in order to apply. As I said at the start of the presentation, the project has to be centered in one of those 6 advanced digital technology areas. If you're asking for laptops or lighting or microphones or anything that's not considered an emerging technology and comes under one of those 6 categories, we can't fund it. That's there's other funding out there at the minute, either live or will be coming live shortly, that will do things like that. This is more focused on innovation and digital transformation, so it has to be focused on those technologies. All eligible expenditures through the fund itself or through the grant has to be capital equipment, so no revenue, no cost for consultants, no staff being brought in. It has to be something that you can buy, either hardware, devices or software system development. It can be bespoke software, and it can cover a license, but only for 1 year. After that, it's up to the business to pay for the license fee after the first year. And the ongoing revenue costs and license fees and things like that will not be covered by the grant. And then the final key eligibility statement is that we will be asking each applicant, if they get through to the application stage, whether or not they've received any further funding in the past, and that's really the state aid subsidy rules. So at the minute, that's 200,000 euros in the last 3 years, and if you've received more than that, you won't be allowed to apply for funding. So coming towards the end, we can take questions at the end if anyone has any queries. But the grant's really been developed to bring micro and small businesses into the emerging technology area. It's for digital transformation, to try and keep your organization or your business agile so that you can adapt to customer needs and stay ahead of competition. You have to have all eligibility requirements to be successful at point of application. If you don't have them at that point, we'll come back to you and say, look, you're unsuccessful at this stage, but if you go away and work, you could apply for call 2, call 3, whatever, and then whenever you're ready, you can submit another application. You can submit multiple applications, up to 2 in one financial year, but they have to be separate technologies. It can't be, say, the same project and you apply twice and you get 40 grand of funding. So they have to be 2 separate technologies, and we'll be verifying and checking through that. The digital transformation plan, that is absolutely critical, and that is how the project scored. The project team in Newry Morningdown, so myself and Paula and another colleague, we cannot offer support or expertise on applications or the technologies or help you develop that plan. That's where the likes of the colleges and the universities will come in. And if you're at that stage, I would strongly recommend contacting your local college, letting them know that you've seen this presentation and that you're interested in funding, and trying to see how they can support your idea to bring in some of those technologies into your business. We're expecting to launch around September 23, maybe the middle of September, with the first call. At the moment, the project was approved by InvestNI on the 10th of May and then by DFE on the 8th of June, and is now moving towards Department of Finance for sign-off at full business case. Once that happens, which we're estimating to be at the end of July after the holidays, we are going into full steam mode, trying to get everything up and running. There are some process documents that would really help everybody here, such as applicant guidance and site of the digital transformation plan, but Invest are currently just signing them off at the minute. And once we have them approved and can make them public, we'll launch them on the DTFF website, which is www.dtff.co.uk. It's currently being branded, so you might see some changes in the next couple of weeks, but some of the information is there, and all of the information will be on that website once the program's live. So that's me. I'm coming to an end. I'm happy to take any questions, but I'll pull the screen down. But before I do that, you'll see the email address, dtff@nmand.org. That's newrymorningdown.org. The telephone number's there if you need it, and the website. But the key thing that I would be recommending to everybody at the minute, if you're interested, is to scan that QR code and sign up to that easing, because that's where we'll be initially promoting everything out through. We've picked up quite a few businesses, actually quite a lot of businesses in the last couple of weeks, both at Digital DNA and Digital Surge. So that's starting to build up. But that's the main platform where you can find out more information once it's live. That's me. I'll stop sharing, and I'm very happy to take any questions. If I can answer them today, I will, and if I can't, we'll come back to you. If it's something that's process related.
Brilliant, Michael, thank you. So Emma McClanahan from Genesis Engine, I think Emma's had to drop off the call, but she was asking, can you spend it on data labeling? So I'm assuming that would fall under the sort of bespoke development, software development.
Data labeling alone isn't really an emerging technology, Gillian. So we would need to see the application, but just from that information, I would say no. Data labeling isn't really an emerging technology in itself. If it was linked into, say, something that was tracking the movement of the end products, that might be covered, but data labeling is not an emerging technology.
Okay, I'll catch up with Emma then, and that Emma has just
Yeah.
been through our program, so she will have a digital acceleration plan, and there's maybe more detail in that, but like what they're using is like an AI generator, so it could
Okay,
be, it's maybe I just
could be, yeah.
don't have enough information there. I'm just seeing Debbie is asking, what is the definition of small business for the purpose of the fund? So it's under 49 or under employees.
Yeah, so a micro business is 1 to 9 employees, full-time employees, and a small business is 1 to 49. So if you're under that, if you're within those categories, you're eligible. Anything over that, you're into small to medium enterprise, and that wouldn't be eligible. And somebody else, I just watching chat here, somebody else was asking pre-startups. Pre-startups aren't eligible. Invest in I clients are, as long as they fall into that small to micro business category, so less than 49 employees.
Okay, and Emma Anderson's asking, can it be used for manufacturing machinery? Maybe it falls under cobotics or robotics, but
Yeah, again, it has to align with those 6 technologies. So if that manufacturing technology has IoT or AI or robotics built into it, yes, and that's the key point with that digital transformation plan. In that digital transformation plan, you have to make it really clear that this is an emerging technology, and it's not just something that could be funded, say, through the Rural Development Program, where you can purchase machinery, like CNC machines and or laser cutters and things like that. It has to be linked to the emerging technologies in order to apply for funding.
yeah, and I'm maybe just an observation here. We had people applying for our program, and they were like, "I have no idea what emerging technology would be of any use to my program, but here's the or to my company. But here's the problem I have," and we were able to say, "Well, you could use IoT to do this." So you were saying, it's really worthwhile if you think, gosh, there's something there, but I don't know what it is, to go and speak to the colleges or the universities to
Definitely,
get
yeah.
their support and teasing that out.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the
Yeah,
company has to be an expert.
So yeah, exactly. So I would be recommending every applicant to engage with the colleges or universities, and from conversations with them, they're open to that. They want to do that. That's their role really. We do not have the resources or the capability to assist every applicant with developing an application for this. And really our role is to distribute the capital funding. So we're expecting to see a digital transformation plan that describes clearly what the business wants to do, what the technologies are, how they're going to implement it, how it's going to benefit the business. That's our role. But definitely go back to the colleges and say, I'm interested in applying for this funding. I have an idea. How can we develop this idea further?
Yeah.
And within maybe towards the end of July, early August, we will have that digital transformation plan, Gillian, and that will give every applicant an idea of what's going to be scored, and you can build it up from there.
Yeah, great. Pamela's asking, does DTFF include social enterprises? So yes, open to
Yeah, as long as you're under 49 employees.
yeah, and so somebody else just saying that was a great help. Can we have the QR sent to us? I think, Jared, I have put the link to that newsletter on up in the chat there at about 12:10. I think I posted it in, but I'll send everyone a link to the newsletter and whatever else after this as well.
Yeah. So I think last week we sent a PDF version of that presentation, which will have that. But Gillian, if you can send that link, it would be perfect to everybody.
Yeah,
It'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I'll make this recording available as well. Obviously, editing out the beginning. Can Dara supply the information of where help is available for primary agriculture in this area? Yes, and I'll try and get you a contact in Dara, John. I don't know who that would be, but yes, I'm sure they can.
Yeah, you probably need to contact Dara directly just to find out what support that they have there.
Kathy McGovern, you discussed tourism businesses. Would you have a point of contact to discuss? So, well, Kathy, depends what council area you're in, but certainly speak to your local business team and the council, but also your local college
Yeah.
as well. But I'll email you as well after this. Is there anything that you can add to that, Michael, as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I don't know what council area they're in, but I would suggest picking up the phone even and trying to speak to the tourism development officer.
Yeah.
But again, in Uri Morning Down, we have a tourism department that's looking into using technologies such as this. And we also have SRC College, who are very good at developing tourism applications. They have their own, they're dabbling in their own technologies as well. So it would be useful to try and contact both to see how you can deliver it. And their role is to help you, well, more so the colleges rather than the councils. Their role, the college's role really is to help you develop these concepts.
Yeah.
And roll them out. The reason I mention the councils is I also sit on other projects within council that is looking at how we can roll out services for our own residents and businesses, and how we can offer our services to them. And I can see a link between what some of the companies are doing in DTFF and what we need. So if you're going down that route, it'd be useful just to chat to some of the tourism officers.
Yeah. And Kathy, I'll see if I have any contacts for you after this as well. Jonathan's asking when applications are open. So around mid-September, we're thinking, but definitely sign up for the newsletter to.
Yes, the key thing is signing up for the newsletter. The lack of a government has meant that this process has been a lot longer than it should have been, but that's just where we are within central and local government in Northern Ireland. So if you sign up to the e-zine, we'll be releasing details of when that call is about to happen, when it's about to open, and you will have plenty of notice. The call will stay open for about a month, and then you have a period of time to go develop your plan and submit your documentation. You'll have to get 2 quotes because it's a local government run program, and we'll be providing documentation on what you need to do there, and then it'll be assessed, and then you'll have a period where you go and purchase it, and then we fund you, not Uri Morning Down maybe, but whatever council area you're in will fund you for the value of the 70% value of the project.
Super, thank you. Adrian Mullins asking, we are wanting to add a new piece of machinery and technology of direct to film printing. Is this included in the funding? I think that goes back to that machinery sort of question.
Again, yeah, if it's linked into, I'm just thinking of the creative industry side and the film side, if it's linked to AR, VR or something like that, there's no problem. It could even be sensors within a film production unit, but it just has to be linked to those 6 technology areas. It can't be funding just for equipment that your business would be requiring anyway. It's purely digital transformation.
Yeah. Sorry, scrolling. David's asking, what are the 6, he was slightly late joining, what are the 6 emerging technologies? So I know this off by heart. Big data, AI.
I don't.
IoT. Immersive technologies like augmented and virtual reality, cobotics and robotics, and blockchain.
Yeah.
And David, away up in the chat, we did a lot of webinars where we got speakers along who were using these technologies, or who had platforms that you could use to roll out these technologies. And there's some great, short segments, case studies of people of how you can use them all, very applicable to small businesses as well.
Yeah, and the slides that Gillian will send out will have potential use cases, not them all. I'm sure there's hundreds here that, from what we were speaking to the businesses in the last couple of weeks, stuff that they're doing is amazing.
Yeah.
Things that we've never even thought of, but the ones that we have in the slides are the typical use cases, maybe.
Jared's just saying thank you. Kirsty Lee, does the customer analytics have to fall under the following topics you mentioned at the start, for instance, healthcare, etc.?
No.
And that really goes back to your point, Michael, there as well. Like what people are using these advanced technologies for is so varied, and
Yeah, they're just examples that we've used for presentational purposes. But as long as you're using those technologies, you could submit an application.
yeah, and Carol as well is saying, does it cover AI in food manufacturing?
Yeah.
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 Hugh, hi Hugh. I deliver sailing and powerboating courses. Would it be possible to arrange a discussion to know what technologies could support this business? So Hugh, I think you're from Ananoma. I'll put you in contact. Donna might be on this call, but in the council, she can help. But also, Aoife, I think, has delivered you your digital acceleration plan from the program. But if you have any queries on that, but that should align with what this program is on. So you know, take it up with Aoife again if you're not clear. But also, I'll introduce you to Donna.
Thank you.
Oh, Kathy's just saying from Ananoma. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Michael, and the college there as well?
I actually sail and windsurf and kitesurf, so that sounds interesting.
Very good. Oh, Kathy, same again. I'll introduce you to Donna, and she'll be able to introduce you into the council. Jonathan saying thank you. Then I have pasted in there in the chat, everybody, a feedback form. If it honestly will take you not even 20 seconds, if you just wouldn't mind filling that in, please, that'd be brilliant. Adrian saying thank you, but he's already gone. Any more, like, feel free to unmute yourself and shout out as well. Has anyone else any other questions for Michael and Paula?
That was excellent.
Michael from SCG, do you think you could have done better when I made you host at the beginning there?
Absolutely no chance. I've been unusually quiet because there's so much information. It's first class. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Mike, that's great, really thorough, Michael. Thank you.
It is probably information overload at the moment, but whenever we get the red pen ticked from our colleagues in central government, we'll have more information, and we have a draft application pack that explains everything. That should be easier for you just to pick through the bits that you need to know really, and some of the eligibility guidelines. So once we get that up and running, it'll be on our website. And as I said, the website's being branded yet, so don't rely on it too much at the minute. But we'll be putting up some of those use cases as well, and pointing to the further support through the colleges and Queen's and UU and Digital Catapult and Catalyst as well.
Yeah. And Mark's just asking, will points of contacts for the respective council areas be made available? This sounds like I'm passing the buck here, Mark, but if you go on to your council's website, it should have a business area and a business address, and if you email them, or you know, they might have a link or whatever, but they'll be there.
Yeah, I would say
there as well. You know, I'm not sure what your surname is, but I might be able to match it up with the registrations. But even if you email me, I can maybe introduce you to my contact at the council who, you know, who can help you maybe as well. Any other questions for Michael and Paula? Oh, what David's asking, what if you have been actively trading for more than 12 months but are not VAT registered? Maybe get VAT registered.
Yep. So you can still apply for it, but the grant intervention rate, the value that you're getting from the grant, won't actually be as beneficial to you. So what I'd be recommending you do is to get VAT registered. All grants from EU, UK government are excluding VAT. So you'll treat that grant through your own VAT treatment processes. But yeah, you have to be VAT registered to apply for it.
Okay, and does your business have to be on the HMRC and trading
Yeah, it has to be set up as a sole trader or a limited company, or it definitely has to be trading for at least 12 months. And what we do at the expression of interest stage is ask you to submit a form, and it asks, are you trading for 12 months? So if you tick yes to that and tick yes to VAT registered, tick yes to say that you have a digital transformation plan or you're working on one, when you get through to the next stage, we'll ask you for evidence to show that you're actually trading for 12 months. If you're a limited company, we'll ask for a company's house number. So there is checks that we have to go through to make sure that you meet that eligibility. But the reason for the expression of interest and then a separate application process is basically not to waste your time. So if you're not ready yet, or you're not at that stage, and you come on an expression of interest and we pick up that you can't go on, we'll go back to you and say, look, you need this before you go on the application. So you're not away off getting quotations and doing a lot of work on the digital transformation plan, but you can apply for a later call. There'll be calls running right up until March 26th.
Yeah, and maybe that answers Kirsty Lee's next question. Says she's an InvestNow client but not yet trading. She's also HMRC registered. So Kirsty could, if you're trading within 12 months of the last call, she could be. So she's a year. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, so a point of application, Kirsty, if you put an application in, you'll have to be trading for 12 months at that point. Yeah, you might just need to wait until call 2, call 3 before you submit an application.
Okay, so yes, I'm going to share the presentation, the recording, the links, and anything else, and that'll have the contact details for Michael and Paula that can take up any more questions that you think of afterwards. Is anyone any more questions before we go? Oh, Emma, it'd be great to get case studies and what type of products that have been funded in the past. There may be technologies we've used but not considered.
Yeah, so this, sorry, Gillian, interrupting you, but this comes back to probably where DTFF sits and where previous support sits. So we're focused on applicants that are ready to go, ready to jump into an application and fund that. What we can't do is sit and develop potential case studies and how this can be used. We'll do it to a certain degree, but we can't develop basically sit with applicants and help them develop it. That's why we're leaning very heavily on the colleges and universities and the support that Digital Surge has provided in the past. And in terms of previous funding, well, this hasn't never been done before. This is kind of a one-off for Northern Ireland and this type of funding. And it's the first of its kind at this intervention rate. So really it's targeted at the established businesses that know what they want to do. But if you're not at that stage yet, that's where you lean on the college, lean on Queen's or other support that you can find. I know for a fact, actually, I've emailed in today from all the colleges. There's a working group, and they're very keen to assist and work alongside DTFF. So if you go to your college and say, look, you've seen this presentation, they will sit down and help you develop the transformation plan.
Absolutely. And I know that last week in Craigavon we had Southern Regional College along, and
yes,
before in Ballymena
I know
Northern Regional College. So yeah, they're really keen to help, and definitely, as Michael says, get in contact with them to get that plan developed. Any more questions for the DTFF team? Please, I'll also email you out the feedback form. If you could do that for me, that would be amazing.
Yeah, just one thing, Gillian, if people are going directly to the councils at the minute, there's not a lot more information that the councils would have compared to what I've explained here today. But what I would suggest is if they just sign up to that e-zine or contact us to say that they're interested, we'll put their details on file, and whenever more information is available, we'll make it we'll send it out to any interested applicant, but we'll also be updating all of the councils at the minute. You know, we have the way DTFF is established. I report to an operations board, which is all 11 councils every month, and that's gone through any operational matters or any business. So if a business does come on, we can pick it up through that. So you can go to your council, but at the minute, the information that we've presented is current and live. You know, it's as much as we have right now until everything's signed off, maybe the end of the month.
Stuff. Okay. Well, Michael, thank you very much again, and Paula as well.
Right.
Thank you.
That was,
problem.
I think, one of the like we sold out. This webinar sold out. I don't think that's ever. I kept having to add tickets and then praying that not everyone would show up because the Zoom platform really supports so many. So, like, thank you to everybody for coming along, and hopefully you'll be successful in getting onto the DTFF program, getting the grant. And yes, as I say, I'll email out all the information, but I'll let you all go. And if there's any more questions, you can get in contact, and I can pass them on, or you can contact Michael and Paula directly. So thank you all
Sure.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Appreciate it.
day.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.